Is your acoustic guitar crying out for a fresh set of strings? Well, if you answered yes, then stick around because I'll be showing you how to restring your pride and joy. What's up guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Musicians Mindset, the channel where we aim to help you achieve your goals and become the best musician you can be. Today we're diving into a super handy skill that every guitarist should have, restringing your acoustic guitar. Now, every guitarist has got their own routine for how they go about this, and I'll be showing you mine, so let's get cracking. Right, let's kick this off with just running you through some of the things that you'll need. So ideally something to raise the headstock up. It'll just make restringing a hell of a lot easier and also protect your headstock. You'll need your guitar, fresh set of strings, string winder. This could be an electric, a manual one, or you could even use your fingers, set of wire cutters, and optionally a pencil, a tuner, and some cleaning products. So first up, what we're going to do is we're just going to loosen up all of the strings. This could be with your electric string winder, your manual one, or even by hand. So the main reason we're doing this is so that when we do cut the strings aren't under tension and they won't snap back and either injure yourself or potentially damage your paintwork. So once you've done that, just take your wire cutters and just cut through the strings. Then what you can do at the headstock end is you just unravel the old strings and just remove them. So it can be a little bit fiddly, so take your time just so you don't damage the finish. So moving down to the bridge, if you've got a manual string winder, you can use a notch just to lift out the bridge pins. Otherwise what you can do, you can reach inside the sound hole and just push them up from the inside. Then what you can do is just remove the strings and then dispose of them appropriately. Right, so this next bit is completely optional. Personally, I do it every time I'm restringing an instrument. Makes sense whilst the strings are off. So I start off just by taking Dunlop fingerboard cleaner and prep. So I go over the fretboard with a cloth and a spray just to clean it up. And then next up, what I do is I take the fingerboard deep conditioner. And then what I'll do is I'll just rub that into each fret. Let it sit in for a couple of minutes. And I'll just take a cloth and wipe off any excess. This reduces the chances of the fingerboard drying out and also helps condition the fretboard and make it a lot smoother when it comes to playing. So moving on to the rest of the instrument, I tend to use Dunlop Formula 65 guitar cleaner. I'll just clean all the painted surfaces as best as I can. So depending on how long it's been since I last did it, I like to sometimes apply some Dunlop Formula 65 body gloss. This essentially acts as like a wax coating just to help protect it. So next up, I like to put a little bit of pencil graphite in the nut slots. So sometimes the strings can get caught and this can cause tuning issues. Whereas with the graphite, it helps the string just glide smoothly through. Right, onto the bit that you're all here for, and that's restringing. So you're going to want to grab your set of strings and open up the packet. So the strings I'm putting on today are Elixir Acoustic Nano Web coated strings. They're an extra light gauge 10 to 47s. And personally I've been using Elixir strings for probably the past 5 years now. And out of all the strings that I've tried over the years, I've always had the best results from Elixir. They last a hell of a lot longer, they still sound bright, they don't tend to rust because they've got a nano web coating or a poly web coating, and they sound amazing. But at the end of the day, it's down to your personal preference of what works best for you. So try and experiment with different strings and see what works for you. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to stick the end of the string with the bead on into the bridge and then stick the bridge pin on top. So if you look at the bridge pin, you'll tend to see a little groove. And what you want to do is you want to position it in a way that the string goes through the groove and out towards the headstock. So what you want to do, once you've got the string seated at the bridge, up at the headstock, you want to position the tuning machine so the hole is essentially going to be following where the string will be sitting once it's all tuned up. And then you'll thread the string through, and I like to gauge my gap just by putting a hand's width at the 12th fret. And then what we're going to do what's called the luthier's knot. So what you'll do, you'll take the excess bit of string and you'll loop it in towards the headstock pass it underneath the usable bit of string, pull it tight, and then you'll pull it back on itself just to lock it in place. And then you're going to take the string winder and just turn. Whilst you're winding, just gently guide the string, just so when it loops round, it goes downwards. So once I've put a string into place, I just like to give it a bit of a stretch just with my thumb and fingers. So if your acoustic guitar has tuning machines on both sides of the headstock, same thing applies. So you're going to go in towards the inside of the headstock, come underneath the usable bit of string, pull it tight, pull it back on itself, hold it in place, and then wind. And there you have it, that's a luthier's knot. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to do this for all 6 of the strings, or if you've got, say, a 12-string acoustic, you're going to want to do the same for that. And once again, stretch all the strings just after you put them on. So once you've done that, you can tune up. So what you're going to want to do now is just cut the excess string at the headstock. So I like to get it as close to the tuning pegs as possible. I don't like to cut it too short, but you don't want it so long that every time you reach up there, you're going to injure yourself. So the last thing I like to do, I just like to apply a little bit of string conditioner, just to help keep the strings playing as smoothly as possible. It's just personal preference, it's up to you whether you do it. Now that you've restrung your guitar, there's only one thing left to do. And that's it. So if you've taken something of value out of this lesson, be sure to let me know in the comment section below and give the video a like. I've got a new video out every single week, so don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. You'll be notified when we upload. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you soon.